Disappearances often leave behind more questions than answers. Were they running from something? Were they taken? From unsettling security footage to cryptic final messages, these moments captured on camera will make you question everything. Each clip tells a story, some with shocking twists, others that remain haunting mysteries. But remember, these stories are real, and in most cases, it is the last time that anyone ever saw these people alive. It's May 30th, 2024, in the quiet suburb of Whitehead, near Ballarat, Australia. Renee King, a 42-year-old woman, leaves her home around 1:25 p.m., carrying her black cat named Shadow in a carrier. This seemingly ordinary departure marked the beginning of a 2-month-long mystery that gripped the community. Renee had been living in temporary accommodation after becoming homeless. Her sudden disappearance raised immediate concerns among her family and authorities, especially given the freezing temperatures that winter. In a bid to gather leads, police released CCTV footage from June 2nd, capturing Renee at a residence in the nearby town of Lucas. The footage shows her ringing the doorbell at 6 a.m., shivering in the cold, and requesting clothing and water from the homeowner. She is seen putting on a second jumper over her clothes before leaving with 2 bottles of water. Despite extensive searches and public appeals, weeks passed with no sign of Renee. Her bank accounts remained untouched, heightening fears for her safety. Then, on July 30th, a breakthrough. Renee was located safe and well in Ballarat. The details surrounding her disappearance and discovery remain a mystery as full details were never released to the public. But Renee's return was a huge relief to friends and family who must have feared for the worst. In March 2025, 20-year-old University of Pittsburgh student Sudik Sha Kanaki embarked on a spring break adventure to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, along with a small group of friends. Little did they know, this trip would take a very dark turn. On March 6th, the group decided to take a late-night stroll on the beach near the resort, the Rio Republica Hotel. Surveillance footage captured them heading towards the shore at around 4:15 a.m. Her companions gradually returned to the hotel, but Sudik Sha never did. The last person seen with her was Joshua Stephen Ribe, a 24-year-old tourist from Iowa. He was spotted returning to the resort alone around 9:55 a.m., barefoot and without a shirt. Ribe told authorities that he had fallen asleep and that he last saw Sudik Sha walking along the beach with the water up to her knees. Over 300 personnel, including local authorities, the FBI, and Homeland Security, have scoured the area using drones, cadaver dogs, and Navy divers. As of now, Sudik Sha remains missing, with authorities exploring all possibilities, from accidental drowning to foul play. Her family continues to hope for her safe return, urging a thorough investigation into all potential leads. In March 2024, 22-year-old University of Missouri student Riley Strain went on a night out in Nashville with his fraternity brothers, eager to soak in the city's vibrant nightlife. On the evening of March 8th, the group found themselves at a lively bar, country star Luke Bryan's 32 Bridge Food and Drink. However, at around 9:45 p.m., Riley was asked to leave for being too drunk. He informed his friends that he was heading back to their hotel but never arrived.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
As concern mounted, authorities scoured the city, focusing their search efforts near a dam 40 miles away.
This isn't going away. We keep going until we have absolutely nothing, no new tips, no traces of anything to follow up on.
I don't really know how we found it. I would love to say just dumb luck, divine intervention. It was just sitting there.
We're still here, bud. We're looking for you. We want to take you home for graduation.
On March 22nd, 2 weeks after Riley's disappearance, the search came to a tragic end when the student's body was discovered in the Cumberland River. An initial autopsy revealed no signs of foul play. An autopsy later revealed that Riley's cause of death was drowning, with ethanol intoxication as a contributing factor. His blood alcohol content was 0.228, nearly 3 times the legal limit for driving. The manner of death was ruled accidental. Riley's untimely death serves as a sobering reminder of the potential dangers associated with excessive drinking and the importance of staying connected with friends during nights out. It's February 8th, 2013, in the quaint town of Bannockburn, Victoria, in Australia. Lauren Whitehead, a 42-year-old mother of 5, enters the local Woolworths store around 4:55 p.m., grabs a bottle of water, a pen, and a card, and then vanishes into thin air. CCTV footage captures her final moments in the store, but what happened next has baffled everyone for over a decade. Witnesses reported seeing Lauren getting into a red Ford WD shortly after her supermarket visit, a vehicle she didn't own. That same mysterious vehicle was spotted near her home over the following weekend and became a focal point of the investigation, with authorities desperately wanting to speak with the driver. Fast forward to recent times, and the case has taken some intriguing turns. In late 2024, detectives armed with fresh intelligence descended upon Shelford bushland, about 20 kilometers from Bannockburn, searching for clues. They even drained a farm dam, hoping to uncover evidence. Unfortunately, the search yielded no significant findings. As of now, the case remains unsolved, but the dedication to finding answers for Lauren's family continues. Authorities urge anyone with information to come forward, hoping to bring closure to this enduring mystery. On October 22, 2020, 55-year-old KPMG executive Alan White embarked on his usual early morning routine in Dallas, Texas. Leaving home around 4:40 a.m., he headed to the LA Fitness on Haskell Avenue for a workout. Surveillance footage captured Alan leaving the gym an hour later and stopping at a nearby racetrack gas station at around 6 a.m., where he filled up his black Porsche SUV and entered the store. This was the last known sighting of him. When Alan didn't return home, his husband, Rusty Jenkins, grew concerned and reported him missing. 5 days later, on October 27th, police discovered Alan's Porsche abandoned, approximately 15 miles from the gas station. The vehicle appeared undamaged, but there was no sign of Alan. The investigation took a grim turn on May 13, 2021, when surveyors found human remains in a wooded area near Paul Quinn College, less than a mile from where the Porsche was found. The Dallas County Medical Examiner confirmed the remains belonged to Alan White and ruled his death a homicide. Despite extensive efforts by law enforcement and a $20,000 reward offered by Alan's family for information leading to an arrest, the case remains unsolved. As of May 2023, no suspects have been publicly identified, and Alan's family continues to seek answers and justice for his untimely death. In August 2021, Moab, Utah was rocked by the tragic deaths of newlyweds Kalin Schlute, age 24, and Crystal Turner, age 38. The couple, known for their love of the outdoors, was last seen on August 13th at Woody's Tavern in downtown Moab, where, according to the reports, they had complained about the weirdo camping next to them in the wilderness. Friends grew concerned when the couple didn't show up for work the following day and couldn't be reached. On August 18th, a friend discovered their bodies at their campsites in the La Salle Mountains. Both had been fatally shot. The investigation initially yielded few leads. However, in May 2022, authorities identified Adam Pikusevich, a former co-worker of Turner's at a local McDonald's, as the suspect. Pikusevich had reportedly expressed animosity towards the couple and left Moab shortly after the murders. He took his own life in September 2021. Investigators later confirmed that the suspect had confessed to the killings before his death, providing details only the perpetrator would know. In December 2022, authorities officially closed the case, concluding that he acted alone.
I can't believe it's over. I'm floored. I mean, did this clue really come in on my clue booth? Was it just a hate crime, you know? I mean, he hated the two lesbians that own the restaurant. He hated the fact that these lesbians appeared to him to be getting preferential favors.
The Moab community continues to mourn the loss of Kalin and Crystal, remembering them for their free spirits and love for each other. Cardiff resident and 36-year-old mother Charlene Hobbs vanished under mysterious circumstances in July of 2024, leaving friends and family in a state of distress. In an effort to jog public memory and generate new leads, South Wales Police released CCTV footage showing Charlene shopping at Morrison's Local in Adamstown on July 23, 2024, the day before her disappearance. The investigation has since been extensive. Over 1,000 hours of CCTV footage has been reviewed. More than 250 addresses have been visited, and searches have been conducted across various terrains, including derelict buildings and waterways. 3 individuals were arrested in connection with the case but have since been released on bail. As of February 2025, Charlene remains missing. Local residents continue to organize weekly searches, pleading for more public involvement to help find Charlene. Her family and friends remain hopeful, urging anyone with information, no matter how insignificant it may seem, to come forward. In February 2005, 25-year-old Lisa Dorian went missing after attending a party at Ballyhalbert Caravan Park in Northern Ireland. On February 26th, Lisa was captured on CCTV visiting the Saltwater Brig pub in County Down during the afternoon, and later that evening, she was seen entering and leaving the Loch and Quay pub, now the Groomsport Inn. These images are the last known footage of her. The investigation into Lisa's disappearance quickly escalated into murder inquiry, but despite extensive searches and numerous appeals, her body has never been found. Personal belongings, including her handbag, were discovered at the caravan park, yet no trace of Lisa herself emerged. February 2025 marked the 20th anniversary of Lisa's disappearance, and the Police Service of Northern Ireland released previously unseen footage in a renewed effort to uncover information. Alongside this, Crime Stoppers announced a £20,000 reward for details leading to the recovery of Lisa's remains or the convictions of those responsible. Despite the passage of time, the hope remains that someone, somewhere, holds the key to solving this decades-old mystery and providing closure to Lisa's loved ones. In October 2023, 29-year-old Nancy Ning from Monterey Park, California, embarked on a yoga retreat to the picturesque Lake Atitlan in Guatemala. An enthusiast of travel and wellness, Nancy was eager to immerse herself in the serene environment. But on October 19th, during a group kayaking excursion, Nancy vanished, leaving behind a trail of questions and heartache.
It's hard to watch. Clearly she looks happy and excited to be out on the lake. And I hope that's not the last time we'll see her. But it's hard to say because, again, there have been no primary witnesses that have spoken up to what they saw.
According to reports, Nancy and fellow participant Christina Blazek were kayaking when Nancy decided to take a swim. Despite Christina's warnings about strong currents, Nancy entered the water. In the moments that followed, Nancy's kayak drifted away and Christina attempted to retrieve it. When she turned back, Nancy was nowhere to be seen. The disappearance prompted immediate search efforts, with Guatemalan authorities and local volunteers scouring the lake. Nancy's family, desperate for answers, launched a GoFundMe campaign to support the search operations and traveled to Guatemala to aid the efforts.
We haven't gotten an update from the prosecutor's office as far as where they got that information. What's curious to us is that we don't have that witness report in our police report.
As of November 2023, despite exhaustive search efforts, Nancy remains missing. Her family continues to seek answers, urging anyone with information to come forward. "30-year-old Caitlyn Louderder was a social worker from Murray, Utah, who went missing in bizarre circumstances in September 2014. The day before her disappearance, she was seen on surveillance footage leaving her condo barefoot in the rain, a behavior that struck her family as very unusual. Earlier that day, Caitlyn had made several 911 calls, reporting incidents that responders later found to be unfounded. She mentions disturbances in her condo's clubhouse and claimed an intruder was in her home, though there were no signs of a break-in. Caitlyn remained missing until December 1st, when her body was discovered in the Jordan River, about 5 miles from her home. The medical examiner's report was inconclusive, noting no drugs in her system and no signs of foul play. However, her family remained skeptical, deeming the circumstances suspicious. To this day, the case of Caitlyn Louderder's disappearance and death remains unresolved, leaving her family and the community seeking answers more than a decade later.
This is me. July 29th, 2008. It is 12:33 Mountain Time. Covering all my bases, making sure that if something happens to me or my family or all of us, that our assets are documented. Hope everything works out and we're all happy and live happily ever after as much as that's possible.
28-year-old Susan Powell, a devoted wife and mother of 2 young boys, was reported missing from her home in West Valley City, Utah on December 7, 2009. The previous year, Susan recorded a chilling video in which she spoke about her fears for her safety, revealing concerns about her husband Joshua and his controlling behavior. She mentioned his anger issues and a pattern of manipulative actions, suggesting that she might be in danger. The video has been widely regarded as a desperate cry for help, highlighting the toxic nature of her relationship, and it became crucial evidence in the investigation into her disappearance.
This is all stuff bought in a year or less through Home Depot on my credit. Josh bought a lot of stuff and then he had to bankrupt it. And then he bought a little bit more on my credit. There's a nice lamp. These are things to roll wood with. And I had necklaces too. I don't know where those are. I got in a rage, as you can see, and broke this. There's duds and pearls and opals in there. Broke this and threw all my DVDs and made a mess because he was angry at me about a year or 2 back.
Joshua claimed he had taken their sons camping in blizzard conditions around midnight on December 7th, leaving Susan sleeping at home. However, searches of the alleged campsite yielded no evidence, and Joshua's account raised suspicions. Further investigation uncovered Susan's blood in the home and a handwritten note expressing fear for her life. Despite extensive searches and mounting evidence, Susan's whereabouts remain unknown. In February 2012, Joshua Powell, along with their 2 sons, died in a house explosion in Washington State in an apparent murder-suicide. The case of Susan's disappearance remains unresolved, with Susan presumed dead, but never legally declared so. In August 2010, 20-year-old Amber Takaro went on a trip to Edmonton, Canada. She accepted a ride from an unidentified man near Nisku, Alberta, and during the ride, Amber made a chilling phone call.
Where are we by?
We're just heading south of Beaumont, or north of Beaumont.
We're heading north of Beaumont. Yo, where are we going?
Just
No, this is a... Are you f***ing kidding me? You better not be taking me anywhere I don't want to go. I want to go into the city. Jeez. Yo, we're not going into the city, are we? No, we're not. Then where these roads going to?
50th Street.
50th Street. Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Yo, where are we going?
50th Street.
50th Street.
50th Street.
East, right?
East.
Over down.
Bravo.
Down.
She can be heard telling the driver, "You'd better not be taking me anywhere I don't want to go." Tragically, Amber was never seen again. 2 years later, her remains were discovered in a field in Leduc County. Despite the audio recording of Amber's final moments, the identity of the man remains unknown, and the case remains unsolved. In July 2019, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police issued an apology to Amber's family, acknowledging shortcomings in the investigation. They continue to seek public assistance in identifying the man heard in the recording. In October 2009, the Jameson family, consisting of Bobby Dell Jameson, his wife Charlene, and their 6-year-old daughter Madison, vanished without a trace from their home in Eufaula, Oklahoma. Their last known moments were captured on their home surveillance system, showing them packing their vehicle in a seemingly trance-like state, which added an eerie twist to their disappearance. A few days later, the pickup truck was found abandoned in Latimer County, just south of Kinta. Inside, their malnourished dog, Maisie, was found alive, along with wallets, mobile phones, a GPS system, and a surprisingly $32,000 in cash, an amount the family wasn't known to carry. Over 4 years later, in November 2013, hunters discovered skeletal remains in a remote area less than 3 miles from where the truck was found. The remains were identified as belonging to the Jamesons in July 2014. However, the cause of the death remains undetermined, and the circumstances surrounding their disappearance continue to baffle investigators. On March 7, 2018, 30-year-old Georgina Garcala, a mother of 2 from Worthing, England, suddenly went missing. Her last known moments were captured on CCTV, showing her visiting a shop to get her phone fixed. She was expected at the local job center and had plans to meet her father, but she never arrived at either location. In 2019, due to a lack of evidence of Georgina being alive, the case was reclassified as a homicide. As of March 2025, Georgina's whereabouts remain unknown, and her case continues to haunt her family and the community. The police have renewed appeals for information, urging anyone who knows something to come forward for the sake of Georgina's family and justice. In the early hours of July 30th, 2015, 25-year-old Stephen Mccrell, a professional poker dealer from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, vanished without a trace. Earlier that night, he had been enjoying drinks with his friends at Lucky's Tavern. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Stephen left the bar, entering his white 2013 Ford Fusion, and was last seen around 2:32 a.m. at Valero gas station in Pompano Beach. Surveillance footage shows him inside the store, appearing disoriented and later engaging in a brief altercation with occupants of a passing car. Following this, Stephen's vehicle is seen leaving the parking lot, with the other car following closely behind. Stephen and his vehicle have never been found. The case remains unsolved, leaving his family and friends in a state of uncertainty and longing for answers. "41-year-old Icelandic poker player John Johnson traveled to Dublin to participate in the Dublin Poker Festival. On February 9, 2019, after a night of gaming, he was last seen in the Bonington Hotel around 11:05 a.m. CCTV footage captured him strolling along Swords Road, appearing relaxed and alone, with his phone, wallet, and passport left behind in his hotel room. Since then, he has not been seen again. Over 270 lines of inquiry, numerous statements, and hours of CCTV footage have been reviewed, but John's whereabouts remain unknown. Anonymous letters have suggested his disappearance might be linked to a case of mistaken identity involving criminal elements, but searches, such as those in Straney Park, have yielded no new information. In March 2025, the Irish police force enlisted the help of Europol and are appealing for any information that might shed light on his disappearance. In late November 2012, 26-year-old Emma Filipof disappeared in Canada. Originally from Perth, Ontario, Emma had been living in Victoria, British Columbia for about a year. On November 28, 2012, her final known moments were captured on surveillance footage at a 7-Eleven store around 6 p.m. The video shows her entering and exiting multiple times, appearing anxious and hesitant, as if wary of someone outside. Later that evening, she was spotted barefoot near the Empress Hotel, visibly distressed. Concerned bystanders alerted the police, who spoke with her for approximately 45 minutes but ultimately deemed her not a threat to herself or others and let her go. This was the last confirmed sighting of Emma. The investigation uncovered her abandoned van containing personal belongings, including her passport and laptop, but no significant clues to her whereabouts. Over the years, various leads have emerged, including reports of a man seen removing Emma's missing persons poster in Vancouver, claiming she was his girlfriend who had simply left to escape her parents. Even though security footage captured the man, he has never been identified. In 2024, authorities launched a renewed effort to identify this man in the green shirt, releasing a police sketch in hopes of generating new leads. But, as of now, Emma's fate remains unknown. In September 2007, 14-year-old Andrew Godson from Doncaster, England, pulled off a vanishing act that has baffled everyone ever since. Known for his intelligence and quiet demeanor, Andrew skipped school on September 14th, withdrew £200 from his bank account, and bought a one-way ticket to London. CCTV footage captured him calmly arriving in King's Cross Station, and then he disappeared into the bustling city, leaving behind no clues. Despite extensive investigations, including public appeals and age-progressed images, no concrete leads have emerged.
It was completely out of the blue. He was just his normal self that week, the evening before. He and I sat and played a game on the computer a bit. I was just making like a jigsaw picture on the computer. And he seemed perfectly happy, he was chatting and cracking jokes in the normal way.
In December 2021, a glimmer of hope appeared when 2 men were arrested on suspicion of kidnapping and human trafficking related to Andrew's case. However, by September 2023, both were released without charge. Andrew's family has kept his room unchanged, holding on to hope that he'll return. His bank account remains untouched and no verified sightings have been reported. The case continues to be one of the UK's most perplexing disappearances.
Well, here I am on my hike up here in the mountains north of Las Vegas. This is a canyon I just walked up in. Now you can't tell, but my truck is way out there by the mountains at the very, very end of this valley. It's kind of like a big canyon. On the other side of these mountains, I'll show you in a second, is the bombing range, the Nellis Air Force bombing range. They do a lot of practice stuff out there. This is an old mine, and there's a hole here that just goes way down. I'll show you that. And then the last time I came up here, I hiked up to the top of what they call Gas Peak, and I spent the night. It was a 2-day hike, and then I hiked all the way down to another valley over here and went past this mountain range you see on my right, all the way back out to the flat desert. Now, the camera doesn't pick this up very well, but it's a long way.
Known online as Snakebit MG, 47-year-old YouTuber Kenny Vich was an avid adventurer who often explored Nevada's rugged terrains. His curiosity was piqued by a mysterious M-shaped cave he claimed to have discovered near Nellis Air Force Base, a cave that, upon approach, made his body vibrate with an unexplained energy. Spurred on by his YouTube followers, Kenny set out to relocate the strange cavern.
This area is that I'm in, it's kind of a weird thing. It's been out here forever. I mean, there's no roads, there's no trails. This thing, who knows how long it's been out here, and I have no idea what they were digging up, but it looks like some of the rocks are kind of rusty, so it might have been some kind of ore. This is kind of iffy. I'm going to step on this thing. It's very old, but I'll just show you down inside that hole. It goes way, way, way down in there. Let me see if I can... that's pretty far.
On October 18th, 2014, he uploaded a video called M Cave Hike, documenting a search. Despite his efforts, he was unable to find it again. Undeterred, Kenny planned a third expedition. On November 10th, he ventured into the Mojave Desert armed with minimal supplies and his trusty 9mm handgun, informing his family it would be a short overnight trip. But he never returned. A search operation followed, and on November 22nd, rescuers discovered his cell phone near an abandoned mine shaft in the Sheep Range. However, no further traces of Kenny were found. Over the years, theories have flourished. Some suggest Kenny succumbed to the desert's unforgiving conditions, while others propose more outlandish ideas involving secret military bases and extraterrestrial encounters. As of now, Kenny Vich's disappearance remains an unsolved mystery, capturing the imaginations of many who wonder about the secrets hidden within Nevada's vast deserts. "24-year-old Rebecca Cororeium was a British crew member who worked as a youth counselor aboard the Disney Wonder cruise ship. On March 22, 2011, the ship was en route from Los Angeles to the Mexican Riviera when Rebecca failed to report for duty. Concerned colleagues initiated a search, but she was nowhere to be found. The last known footage of Rebecca comes from the ship's CCTV, showing her in the crew lounge at approximately 5:45 a.m., engaged in a phone call. She appeared visibly distressed, and after hanging up, she was seen walking away while running her hands through her hair. The investigation into her disappearance was led by authorities in the Bahamas, as the ship was registered there. However, the inquiry was heavily criticized for its lack of thoroughness and transparency.
Just very, very painful. And the thought of not seeing her again, I don't know. It's frightening to think about it, really.
We just don't know what happened to her, do we? That's the worst.
Rebecca's whereabouts remain unknown, and her case continues to be a disturbing reminder of the mysteries that can occur on the high seas. On December 13, 2009, Stephen Kocher's car was found parked in a quiet cul-de-sac in the upscale Anthem neighborhood in Henderson, Nevada. Surveillance footage from a nearby residence captured the 30-year-old exiting his vehicle around noon, retrieving an unknown item, and walking away with purpose. Dressed in a white shirt and dark trousers, he appeared as if he had a destination in mind. This was the last confirmed sighting of Stephen. The investigation into his disappearance revealed a series of puzzling details. In the days leading up to his vanishing, he went on long drives across Utah and Nevada, including a 1,100-mile round trip to Ruby Valley, where he visited the family of a former girlfriend. Friends and family were unaware of his plans, and no clear motive for his journeys has yet been established. Stephen's cell phone activity post-disappearance added another layer of mystery. His phone remained active for 2 days, pinging towers in the Las Vegas area, but attempts to reach him went unanswered. To this day, Stephen Kocher's fate remains an enigma, leaving his family and the public to wonder what led him to that Henderson neighborhood where he might be now. In October 2024, a tranquil town in India was shocked by a daring daylight kidnapping. 2 young siblings, aged just 3 and 4 years old, had just returned from school and were under the care of their grandmother. As they played innocently in their living room, 2 men brazenly entered their home and took them away. The despicable act was captured on the home's CCTV system, showing the kidnappers fleeing with the children to a waiting getaway car. The children's grandmother immediately alerted the authorities. The police, wasting no time, launched a full-scale investigation. Using CCTV footage and technical surveillance, they tracked the kidnappers' vehicle and made plans to intercept it. When they called up to them, there was a confrontation, resulting in a shootout where one of the kidnappers sustained injuries. Thankfully, the children were rescued unharmed and reunited with their family. According to reports, the motive behind this awful crime was a financial dispute between the kidnappers and the children's father. The disappearance of 22-year-old Trevor Deely is one of Ireland's most troubling cases. In the early hours of December 8, 2000, Trevor left his company's Christmas party and stopped by his office, perhaps to grab an umbrella or check some emails. CCTV footage captures him chatting briefly with a mysterious figure dressed in black outside the building. Trevor then continued his journey homeward. More CCTV footage shows him strolling past the Bank of Ireland ATM on Haddington Road at approximately 4:14 a.m., with the same dark-clad figure trailing about 30 seconds behind. Trevor would not be seen again. The investigation into his disappearance has seen numerous twists and turns. In 2017, acting on a tip from an informant, authorities searched a wooded area in Dublin, suspecting foul play by a known criminal. The result was a cache of unrelated firearms and drugs, but no sign of Trevor. In December 2023, the Irish police announced they identified and interviewed the man in black from the CCTV footage, concluding he was not linked to Trevor's disappearance. To this day, Trevor Deely's vanishing act remains a riddle. His family continues to seek closure, holding on to hope that someday, someone will stumble upon the missing piece in this intricate puzzle. On June 1st, 1990, 24-year-old Connie Lyn Roy enjoyed what seemed like a typical night out in Mount Clemens, Michigan. She was with a new acquaintance and accompanied him and his friends to Hayloft Bar, a local hotspot. Surveillance footage from that evening captures the trio entering the bar, with Connie appearing cheerful. However, less than an hour later, the same camera records a puzzling scene. Connie exits the bar alone, barefoot, carrying her shoes and leaving her purse behind. She appears unsteady, possibly under the influence, and bumps into a wall before disappearing from view. This would be the last confirmed sighting of her. Witnesses later reported a possible sighting of Connie using a payphone across the street from the bar, with a late 1970s model car nearby. It's unclear whether she entered the vehicle, and no further evidence has surfaced to clarify this lead. The investigation into Connie's disappearance has spanned more than 3 decades, involving interviews, polygraph tests, and extensive searches. The 2 men that she was with that evening were questioned and cleared of any involvement, as their accounts were consistent, and they remained at the bar after she left. If Connie Lyn Roy is alive, she would be 59 years old this year. Her case remains open, with authorities and her family still hopeful of one day finding her. On the chilly morning of February 15, 2019, 19-year-old Leah Croucher set off on her routine walk to work in Milton Keynes, England. Dressed in her black coat and Converse sneakers, she was last captured on CCTV at 8:16 a.m. After the sighting, Leah seemed to have vanished into thin air, leaving her family and the community in a state of bewilderment and concern.
If you are able to see or hear this, please, please, please come home. You're not in any trouble, because we love you so much. We want our beautiful wonderful little girl to come home. If there's something bothering you, we can help you to fix it. You're not alone. You will never be alone as long as me and Dad are here.
Thames Valley Police searched the surrounding area, knocking on over 4,000 doors, deploying drones and conducting searches in local lakes, but Leah remained elusive.
Since she was last seen, there's been no use of her mobile phone, she hasn't accessed her bank, and she hasn't used social media. This is really unusual for Leah. We'd encourage anybody who has seen Leah, who has spoken to Leah, who knows people who have spoken or seen her, or anybody who's got any information whatsoever, then to come forward, no matter how small they think that bit of information might actually be.
The case grew colder and hopes began to wane. Fast forward to October 2022, when a maintenance worker investigating a foul smell at a property 1 mile from Leah's last known location made a grim discovery. Human remains were found concealed in the attic, along with Leah's personal belongings. DNA tests confirmed the worst. Leah had been in that house all along. No Maxwell, a convicted sex offender, became the prime suspect, but he took his own life in April 2019, 2 months after Leah vanished. An inquest found him guilty, but the exact cause of her death remains undetermined. Leah's parents continue to seek justice and advocate for changes in monitoring violent offenders, ensuring that their daughter's legacy is not forgotten. On December 19, 2015, 32-year-old Chad Gibson went missing in Cornwall, England. Later that day, Chad was seen in St. Austell before heading to Newquay, where he met a friend at the Central Pub. Around 5:10 p.m., CCTV captured Chad leaving the pub with 2 men, crossing the road to Bank Street. They returned shortly after, but by 6 p.m., Chad was alone, seen jogging across a mini roundabout on 4th Street, heading towards Tower Road and Headland Road. That was the last confirmed sighting. Chad's mother, Sharon, revealed that the night before, Chad had met a woman he was excited about. This led to a confrontation in the pub when another man claimed to have dated her. More than 9 years have now passed since Chad's disappearance. The case remains unsolved, with authorities and volunteers continuing to seek answers. Chad's family maintains a Facebook page to keep his memory alive and encourage new information. "19-year-old Luke Durban was an easygoing guitarist who, on May 12, 2006, had spent the night with friends in Ipswich, England. After leaving the Zest nightclub around 2 a.m., he attempted to make his way home. With no money or phone, he was seen at a taxi rank around 3:40 a.m., emptying his pockets to show he couldn't pay. CCTV footage captured his final moments at a zebra crossing on Dogshead Street at 4 a.m., but after crossing, he disappeared from view and has never been found. Luke's mother, Nikki, reported him missing the following afternoon. There were possible sightings, but the trail remains cold. In April 2020, a documentary aired exploring Luke's connections to drug trafficking and possible debts to dealers. This raised new questions about his disappearance as of January 2025. His mother, Nikki, continues to seek answers. She has been quoted as saying, "This is the most horrendous journey and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy." On May 11, 2011, 6-year-old Timothy Pittson was dropped off at school in Aurora, Illinois by his father James Pittson. Later that night, his mother, Amy Fry Pittson, checked him out, citing a family emergency. She then took Timothy on a 3-day adventure, visiting the Brookville Zoo and staying at water parks in Gurney and Wisconsin Dells. Security footage captured their cheerful checkout of the Kalahari Resort on May 12th, but after that, Timothy vanished. Days later, Amy's body was found in a Rockford motel room, with the mother having taken her own life. She left a note stating that Timothy was safe but would never be found. Investigations revealed traces of Timothy's blood in her car, though some stains were later attributed to a previous nosebleed. Amy's cell phone was discovered around Route 78, but it yielded no new leads. Over the years, there have been occasional claims of sightings, including a 2019 incident where a teenager in Kentucky identified himself as Timothy. DNA testing disproved this claim. In 2021, on Timothy's 17th birthday, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children released an age-progressed image depicting him as he might look today to renew public awareness. But as of March 2025, Timothy's whereabouts remain unknown. His father continues to hold on to hope, believing his son is alive and was taken by someone Amy entrusted him to. The case remains open. "24-year-old Jennifer Keese, a financial analyst from Orlando, Florida, was last seen leaving her work around 6 p.m. on January 23, 2006. She spoke with her father during her drive home at 6:15 p.m. Then, later that evening, she chatted with her boyfriend around 10 p.m. The next morning, though, her boyfriend's calls went unanswered, which was unusual. When Jennifer didn't show up for work, her employer contacted her parents, and upon arriving at her apartment, the parents noticed Jennifer's car was missing. There were no signs of foul play inside the house, but a wet towel and clothes indicated she had just been there that morning.
Every single second of every single day to us is frantic because we need to find her.
The following day, a neighbor reported seeing Jennifer's car parked outside their apartment complex for several days. Surveillance footage revealed an unidentified person parking her car and walking away, but the image was blurry and the person never looked back. As of March 2025, Jennifer's whereabouts remain unknown and her case is considered cold. Her family hasn't given up, though, and are holding on to hope for a resolution.
We're not going to stop until we take our last breath, or she comes home to us, for the good or the bad.
On February 26, 2024, 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, sparking a widespread search that continues to this day. Sebastian, who has autism, was last seen around midnight, leaving his house barefoot with a flashlight. Despite extensive searches involving ground teams, drones, divers, and even spelunkers checking sinkholes, no trace of him has yet been found. In November 2024, celebrity bounty hunter Dwayne "Dog" Chapman joined the search. increasing the reward to $175,000 and pursuing leads in Oregon and New York. The search remains active, with authorities and volunteers continuing efforts to locate Sebastian. Here's for hoping for his safe return soon.
The goal is still the same. Find Sebastian. He needs to be found and brought home to a home that loves him.